Hello, my name is Cadence Strange. I'm 13 years old, and I'm 6'2". I brought this out because I'm questioned on a daily basis for not having one. From what I've been told, it's a waste of my body not to use it. I have dribbled it out here for you, but I have no idea how to. My love is for classical music. I actually sing with the Pacific Boy Choir Academy. It's not something you see every day, but it's all I know. The only team uniform I wear is this one. While I don't have a gym bag or a football with me on my way to school, you may find me traveling with my cello. Through embracing my passions and finding my dreams, I have learned to thrive in places where society wouldn't have expected me to be. I wasn't even supposed to be here from day one. My parents weren't married, and I was not planned. Unfortunately, based on my appearance, some may see me walking into the symphony and think, why is he here? But here I am, proving people wrong, beating the odds since I was born, December 29th, 2005. While the journey has not been easy, it has definitely been worth it. Every morning, I get up at 5:30 a.m., and my journey begins. My commute to and from school is around 2 hours. But taking BART and walking miles in my school uniform with my cello and my music bag has discouraged me, but I have never let it show. In fact, I use it to motivate me. It seems like just yesterday that I was at a school where my mom had to beg me to get out of the car, with my principal practically pulling me out every morning. And now, just a few years later, I'm traveling hours solo, proud of my independence, and excited to go to a school where I'm elected head boy, where I found my voice. This voice and this identity has been a long time in the making. Constantly being judged because of my appearance and my inability to speak fluid sentences has become an obstacle in life. Since I was little, I've lived my life in a constant state of trying to prove myself to the entire world just that I belong. I always knew that I was well-loved, but lived my childhood as the tag-along kid, sitting in the audiences of my mom, Jasmine, and sister Lyric's performances. People seemed captivated listening to them, but I wanted that too. I always envisioned myself being on the big stage, but then I would sit and think of all the things people expected me to be, this type of athlete and that type of athlete. Too often, people look at the outer package of a person and try to determine who or what they should be, even a kid. I knew what I wanted. That was music. So how could I find my voice if I was always sitting in the audience or switching schools? How could I be comfortable in my own skin if I wasn't even comfortable at my own school? During my first 11 years of life, I switched schools about 6 or 7 times. Although I can now sing in 7 different languages, oddly, I struggled speaking in my own native language, English. I stuttered terribly and was pulled from class daily by a speech therapist. It was so hard for me to get my words out that I had to clap my hands or squeeze my eyes tight, but here I am. I was terribly frustrated, but I couldn't communicate it to the world properly. I spent nights crying and days silently hoping that I wouldn't have to speak too much the next day or communicate at all. I ended up being bullied and teased, and my mom immediately removed me. The next school I would attend would inform me that I had to cut off my hair. No braids, no afro, no identity, no voice, and still no music for me. I have had to face the embarrassment of people questioning my appreciation for classical music. People could not figure me out. A little black boy who loved classical music and wanted to play the cello at the symphony? Where are you going, or where are you coming from, young man, were common daily questions for me, just because I had a suit coat, a tie, and dress shoes on most of the time. I didn't know any different. This was how my grandmother and mom used to dress me since I could walk. In honor of my grandmother, who I've recently lost a year from today, I will continue to dress for success. My mom could see my identity struggle, but never stopped searching for a school where I could feed my passion. Eventually, my aunt told my mom about the Pacific Boy Choir Academy, an all-boys Grammy award-winning school just right here in Oakland that had hours of music every day, including voice, theory, performances with the San Francisco Symphony, the San Francisco Opera, the A's, and even the Golden State Warriors. On top of that, I'd get to tour around the world. Yes, this was my school. Despite the price of this top-notch school, and despite my difficult living situations, PBA became my academy. PBA became my home away from home. Where there's a will, there's a way. Through scholarships and my mom volunteering, we made it happen. When I arrived at my 7th school, PBA, I noticed that people still didn't look like me, but they walked and talked like me. Eureka! We spoke the same language. We'd get to tour around the world together, Ecuador and Ireland being my first 2 trips outside of the country. A door had now opened for me that no human could close. There is where I found my voice. I could now communicate in my own language, the language of music. But the challenges did not end there. On campus, I am a leader and am fueled by 15 hours of music per week. But off campus, I still faced the same life struggles and judgments. Evictions, stereotypes, and parental layoffs. One of the most painful comments I've ever heard came after the comment of whether or not I played basketball. I answered no and was then slapped on my chest and told, "What a waste of your body." Not quite the uplifting, encouraging comment one could receive from an elder to a young male. Picking myself up by the bootstraps is something I've learned to do quite often. I then went on to sing with the Oakland Symphony. I was their youngest member at 11 years old. There is where I met Maestro Michael Morgan. I do fit in, I thought to myself. I do belong. There was a place for me. And here's an example of someone who walked in shoes very similar to mine. He was a role model like no other. After a long stint of being embarrassed, misunderstood, homeless, and misdiagnosed, I found understanding. I found purpose. I found a home. I found a future. And I found identity. Let me ask you this. When in your life have you been bullied, judged, or misunderstood? You are not alone. I too have been there. Today I stand before you as a first proud African-American head boy of the Pacific Boy Choir Academy in its 20 years of existence. Music saved my life. What is the music within you waiting to erupt? Remember, when searching for who you are, don't forget to look within. Thank you.